It's a creeper world. Here comes Vanilla Minecraft Season 2. Здравствуйте, Minecraft fans, it's Collins. That's a Russian for hello, I hope, if I didn't mangle that. Today we're going to do some Minecraft. We're going to go in the end and we're going to, since we killed the Ender Dragon last episode, we're going to do some stuff in there and mess around. And we're going to talk about economics and socialism. Haha. Socialism. So, it's the big thing now, especially with this like Bernie Sanders thing in America. Running for president, he's calling himself a democratic socialist, which it's got a new name. It's the same damn thing. It's socialism, and what socialism is and what socialism isn't. So, socialism is not like people will tell you, well, socialism, you don't want that. You don't want like police and fire and roads and stuff like that. That's technically not socialist. I mean, it's government controlled. It's infrastructure. It's stuff that is, it's basically not cost beneficial for private companies to maintain. There's no way that, like the international highway system could be maintained privately. We pretty much have to have the government run that type of thing. Kind of the same with the post office, even though with like FedEx and stuff now we got, I mean, we don't even need the post office anymore. But like the fire department and the police and stuff like that, you kind of want that to be run by government. But that doesn't make it socialist that you want those things. It's just stuff that's run by the government. So there's a misperception about what socialism is and what socialism isn't. And at least to me, that's not what I think of. And I don't. It's kind of silly to argue in favor of those things like that. Like, oh, well, you don't want a post office, or you don't want an international highway system, or no. We don't want the government to run everything. And like one of the things I was thinking about with the socialism is like democratic socialism, whatever that is. But and Trump just called Sanders. He just calls him a communist, which, in my opinion, I think he is. And we talk about that, like communism and socialism. What's really the difference? Well, the difference is it's a scale thing. So if you have enough government, you're socialist working towards communist. Basically, communist would be full control of the government, and socialist would be almost full control. So it's pretty much just a scale thing. And if you think about it, like the former Soviet Union, Russia, used to be the USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. We call them communist. They called themselves socialist. They said it was socialism. We said there's too much government in there, and we don't believe you're socialist. We think you're communists, which is what they were. So when you hear those terms, don't let anybody fool you, because democratic socialism is just socialism. Yeah. And 50 years ago, we were going to war with these socialist countries, and they failed. The Russian economy fell apart, and they pretty much had to go to at least like a capitalistic type economy right now. Well, mostly it's just criminals, but Russia's economy fell apart. North Korea, we had a war with Korea. I mean, that's why like South Korea is pretty much controlled or protected by the United States, because North Korea is a communist dictatorship, a socialist dictatorship. China has backed off their socialist stuff and opened up their free market, and that's how come they're expanding. Cuba is socialist. That's what Vietnam was about, North Vietnam and South Vietnam. These communist countries, 50 years ago we were fighting them, and, the Reds were anti-American and communist parties in America, and everybody hated them and stuff. Nowadays we're like, oh no, that's cool, we want that. No, we don't want that. We don't want socialism. And it's really weird, because like we talk about these essential services and stuff like Social Security. And now notice the word social in there. And we didn't always have Social Security. Back in the day, like in my grandpa's day, God rest his soul, the, he worked for a company for like 50-something years and retired with the gold watch and got a pension and all that stuff. That doesn't happen nowadays. And originally, Social Security was like something for like retirees and stuff. And nowadays, you can't get like companies you can't get, or nobody works at a job for 50 years at the same company and gets a retirement plan. And why is that? Do we blame the government jobs still have that though? You notice that if you work for the DMV, you get a pension, but if you work for a private employer, you don't get that anymore. But how do you blame? Do you blame that on the employers, or they're the evil, greasy capitalists and they love to shaft their employees? Or do you blame it on the government? They opened up global trade, they opened the borders, they got cheap illegal immigration labor, they got H-1B visas, and all these other things to shrink the profit margins, and employers have to cut their costs. I mean, who do you blame that on? Either way, pensions are gone now, and your government Social Security is pretty much taking its place. And was it designed that way, or is it just a fluke? Like, how do we even know? We're trying to put stairs here on the end. We're trying to make this whole thing 2.5 blocks tall from the zone in to the exit portal there. That's what all this junk is. But yeah, now the benefits are also the Social Security benefits. Now they're given to people who are disabled. But how many people are abusing it? Like, how many people do you know are abusing that stuff? Like, what's disabled now? We've got all these diseases now that have been invented in the last 50 years that people didn't have before, that, I'm stressed out by something and I can't work anymore. And you know what? I'm stressed out too, but I got a job, so shut up and stop taking my government money and living off that and not working for a living. It's like Social Security's gone out of hand, and now we got legal and illegal immigrants getting Social Security. And this is another thing too. We talk about immigration. Oh, I got hit by Enderman. But with like immigration, everybody talks about, oh well, why are you being mean to these poor, defensive? Look, dude, we're not here to save every third world country's no name, nothing troublemakers or whatever, but my ancestors that were immigrants came here through legal immigration. Legal immigration. We still have legal immigration. We just have people coming over here illegally, and we don't want that. We want the legal immigrants. We don't want the illegal ones. But anyway, so that like the Social Security benefits are taken by immigrants, and they're taken by all these people who with these fake diseases, and we're basically just eating up. Where's all this money going to come from? I mean, Social Security they already expected it to fall apart anyway, and now we got all this extra costs going up. Same thing with, so these government programs, they just don't work like we would expect them to, or we want them to. No, Enderman. I got that stupid flame sword. Like healthcare costs or whatever. The cost of healthcare went up when we government, and you can't keep your doctor. And there's all these extra services that are paid for. Why do these services have to be covered or whatever? Like, dude, you don't buy condoms for me. Why do I have to pay for you to have the pill on your plan? I mean, it's not really essential. Yes, most women take the pill, but why is that covered by it? Why do some states have like abortion as a paid medical service? What if you're like, your religion is against abortion? You are still paying state taxes, and your state is subsidizing people's abortions, even though it's against your. And it doesn't even really matter whether you're pro-life or not. You're stuck paying for these other people's abortions. Why is it a paid service? Why not have? Why do your taxes have to pay for that? Why are we paying for people who are too stupid to use birth control, and the taxpayers are paying for it? That's the problem too with this bigger government stuff, is we have all these free services. They're not really free. They come from our taxes. I mean, it's like with this free college. Bernie Sanders wants to do free college. Well, that's the other problem with free stuff, is it loses its value. I mean, like, if they gave Lamborghinis away for free, everybody would have one, and nobody would think Lamborghinis were that cool. The same thing with the college. We already have enough college graduates who are working as baristas because they can't get jobs in their field, and now we want to make college degrees free, and that's supposed to make college degrees more useful. I mean, go down, when the next time you're at the store, go to the stand where the free magazines are and get yourself a free nickel ads or the free full rent magazine or one of those free periodicals, and take it to one of your friends and say, look what I have, tell me how valuable you think this is. And they're just going to laugh in your face because it's not valuable, it's free. What makes us think that college being free is going to be more valuable? It's just silly to think that, we're going to increase the value of something by giving it away for free. It's just a joke. The other thing too about this socialism and all this stuff is, like, imagine if we lived in this wonderful utopia where, unicorn fart rainbows powered our homes and everybody got paid the same, and oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Hold on a second. Everybody gets paid the same? Wouldn't that be a problem? Would you want your doctor that is performing open heart surgery on you to be paid the same as a burger flipper at a fast food chain? Would you want the pilot of your airplane to be paid the same as some guy who serves you a big gulp at the convenience store? We can't do that. I mean, that's one of the things I talked about minimum wage before, is we keep doing this and we keep trying to mess our economy up, and under the guise of we're helping the poor out, we're not helping the poor out, we're hurting the poor when we do this kind of stuff. And we create this class disparity, and we want to punish the rich or whatever. I mean, we want to keep the rich people from abusing power, and which we're not doing. I mean, they donate to campaigns, and they're in the super PACs, and they get their own tax loopholes, and they do all this stuff anyway. But nobody stops that. We end up putting taxes on the rich, and we can just have more taxes, and a luxury tax, and this tax, and that tax for the rich. Well, the rich is you and me if we do a good job. I mean, what we're actually doing is we're punishing success, and it's actually going to make it harder for people to rise up. And that is, the income, upward mobility. We don't have upward mobility anymore. It's hard to start out dirt poor and then work yourself up. I mean, if you think about these classic rich, Americans or whatever, like the Rockefellers or whatever. Well, Rockefeller didn't start out rich. At some point, he was a poor guy in America, and he made himself rich. But you can't do that anymore. I mean, we have some people, but most people don't do that anymore. We don't have, there's Zuckerberg and Gates and stuff like that, but there's really not a lot of that anymore because we've basically reduced the ability for upward income mobility. And we have this class disparity now, and the middle class is shrinking, and if you make too much money, you get dinged with bigger taxes. We're basically punishing the wealthy. And all we're really doing is we're throwing up barriers to keep us from becoming wealthy, which is not what we want to do. I mean, just on a percentage basis, if you just had a flat tax with just 1%, or not 1%, but with a flat tax with a certain percentage, everybody wouldn't be, the rich would still pay more because they would make more money. But we're doing all this punishment and this class disparity and everybody's hatred for the rich, and all we're really doing is making it harder for us to become rich. I mean, what happens if people start doing the cost-benefit analysis and it's no longer worth trying to be rich, and that we're not going to have successful people anymore? People aren't going to try really hard. Like I was talking about with doctors and pilots and stuff. If a pilot got paid the same as a burger flipper, who would want to be a pilot? Who would want to be a good pilot? Who would care? Would you want your plane to be flown by some guy who gets paid the same as a burger flipper? Hell no. It's just a dumb idea. And this whole socialism thing, it just stirs up this class envy, and screws all this up and makes us hate the rich instead of striving to be the rich. I mean, why are we letting our country go this way? Like, what do we think our benefits are going to be? It's just really weird. I mean, that's the part that I don't get about the socialist economies and stuff. This concept of it, and we want to give it, and Bernie Sanders wants free everything. And the problem now is that we have so many people on like welfare and food stamps and all this other stuff nowadays. If you get enough, like if you got 50% of the U.S. population on government assistance, then you've got the voting majority. You can pretty much do whatever stupid policies you want. I mean, is that what we want to do? Because that's what we're working towards. And we're just growing government. Government doesn't do anything right. It doesn't do anything efficiently. Every time you put money in a government program, it just costs more money. It's silly. And I don't even understand. And we're losing incentive. Nobody has an incentive to work hard anymore because, the government will just take care of us. It's insane. Like, I just don't understand. I really don't understand socialism and why people think that's a good thing and why people think bigger government is going to help our economy in any way, shape, or form. I don't really understand that at all. I wish I did, but I don't. I don't wish I did. I know I don't. It doesn't make sense at all. I wish those people understood how life actually works. And it's just, it's insane. And like capitalist, I'm big. I want capitalism. I want free market economies. We're killing Endermen. With the flame sword, it's not going to work. Yeah. Well, that's what I want. I want regular economics. I want a job that's going to pay me more if I do a good job, not because the government raised minimum wage again. And then if I do a good job, I'll get paid more money. I mean, if everybody got paid the same, who'd do a good job? Who would be rocket scientists? Who would be... Oh, sorry, I got a cold. Who would work towards getting a good job? Who would want to be successful at their job? Could you imagine if everybody at McDonald's got paid the same and they didn't get fired for being horrible customer service? We'd end up with your service at the fast food place would be like being at the DMV. Nobody seems to understand how economics works. They just think, the government is promising me free stuff, and so I'm going to vote for Bernie because I get free stuff. This is just crazy. I don't understand why people think socialism is going to work. I mean, it destroyed Russia. It destroyed the former Soviet Union. China backed off their communist policies. Cuba was horrible. I mean, the people were treated nasty in Cuba. That's why we boycotted them for 50 years or whatever. Because they were evil communist dictators, and that's what we're working towards being. We're going to have the government running everything, and we're basically going to have a communist dictatorship in the Western world. America's doing that. Canada's doing it. All of the Western world countries are. What are we doing? Oh, yeah. So we're trying to throw blocks through the end portal because they supposedly landed at your exact spawn point in the overworld. So now we're going to try and see where those blocks are. I don't think we can find them, though. I'm sorry, I got a really bad cold. Hopefully I wasn't coughing too much into the mic. So somewhere around here should be some dang blocks. And there's a zombie, no blocks. Because this is really close to where we spawned when we first started out in the world. That's why I kind of built the house and stuff here. I wanted this stuff to be in the spawn area because supposedly the spawn chunks are always loaded. That way, like any automated farms and stuff, like the chicken farm will always work. I don't know where those blocks are, though. Exact point in the end, or when you throw them through the end portal, it should be the exact point where your spawn deal is. Like when you die in spawn, it kind of goes randomly. Like if you die or you go through the end portal and you respawn in the overworld, it is, well, normally it's your bed, but if your bed's broken or you didn't sleep ever, respawn would be like within a 20 block radius of your spawn portal or whatever, your spawn point. So that's what I'm trying to figure out now, along with everything else. I don't know, I think we're going back into the end to figure out how to do that again. But yeah, this episode we're kind of working on a ghetto and Enderman farm, get some ender pearls, get some endstone. I'm gonna have to get a sword that doesn't have fire aspect on it to kill some Endermen. Endermen don't have the same, they don't react the same in 1.8. Like in previous versions, you could look at them from way far away and they would, they would run towards you, but nowadays they don't. I think what we might be able to do too is in the end we can, what did I do? Oh, I broke the bed and placed it in the same spot. That does not break your bed. It still counts as a valid bed. That's kind of silly. But the Enderman, like we can build like the hunting blind type of thing in the end, and see how we can build it so that Endermen come towards us, and maybe we can work on that as like a practice thing on how to build one in the overworld, because I want to figure out how to do one in the overworld, because I had the hunting blind before. So that was something that I have a tutorial still for the hunting blind, but it doesn't work anymore. The goal was you go into like a desert or something, and you go into this little, hunting blind, this little thing that you sit in, and then at night, and mobs would spawn like Endermen and stuff. Yeah, see, it landed on my bed even though I broke it before. So now we're gonna break it and stick it in a chest, hopefully. Yeah, maybe this time when we go through it'll take us to our spawn point. But the hunting blind was something I wanted to figure out how to do. I wanted to build a little tower or something, some sort of structure that you sit in, that you can get a bunch of Endermen to come to you, and it's not tall enough. It's too short inside for Endermen to get to you, so you can hang out in there and kill a bunch of Endermen and get ender pearls in order to be able to make, Eyes of Ender to search for the end portal room. It's obviously something I don't need anymore now, but it's still one of those things that I liked being able to do when I was, it's something that would be good to know how to do. So none of the designs that I've used this time around have worked. Okay, so now we're going to throw more blocks through, and the blocks supposedly land exactly at your spawn point, and then you land in a random spot, and hey, there's my blocks. So that chunk right there, that's my spawn point. So apparently you respawn somewhere close to that every time you die and don't have a bed, or you come back from the end. But if you throw blocks through the end portal, they land exactly on that block. But yeah, the hunting blind is still something I'd like to figure out how to do. So maybe we can build something in the end and figure out what it takes to get Endermen to come after us, and then find a way to build the same thing in the overworld and keep like zombies and skeletons and spiders and everything from destroying us too. But that's something we can look at. And I don't even know if I want to do, like, do I want to do an ender bowl in the overworld? Do I want to do one of the new endermite farms? I'm not even sure how I want to do the end. That's the other thing about Minecraft too. Like, it's like this rugged individualism. There's no, it's all about my success. It's everything that I do that starts me from the ground up. So I can build contraptions, I can build a hunting blind, I can build automatic farms. It's really just about my success. Yeah, we're gonna work on this end thing some more. I keep forgetting to bring the sword. I didn't bring a sword that doesn't have fire aspect on it. Oh, and it's dang cold. I can't talk for half an hour straight. Ugh. Sorry about all the coughing, guys. Oh, and I got a bunch of tutorials up too. So we did a tutorial. There's an ice cube farm. Well, we built it here in the LP, and also there's a tutorial for it. It's just kind of a simple way to do it. And then there was the, I just put a tutorial out for modded Minecraft for Tinker's Construct. I'm trying to figure out a new modded Minecraft pack to play. But in the meantime, I've been looking at the mods and testing on a couple different packs to try things out. So, at some point, I think we'll do another modded Minecraft LP. Once I get excited enough about a pack that actually does what I want it to do. But in the meantime, we'll probably just do like tutorials, mod spotlights, or something like that. There's a couple mods that I was looking at that I haven't seen a whole lot of information on, so the only way to do it is to really play with it. So maybe I'll do some mod spotlights or mod tutorials. But my Tinker's Construct one is basically a way to get like tools really fast, or fairly fast. Oh yeah, so without the flame sword, we're going to try to punch and hit him with the axes and everything. But then the sword has fortune on it, so now we don't have, or not fortune looting, but so now we don't have. Yeah, and they dodge arrows. They used to not do that, didn't they? The arrow used to hit them and they would teleport when it hit, but now they move out of the way beforehand. It's really weird. So we got a few more minutes before we wrap this up. What other economics and socialists and stuff like that? I don't know, I talked before about minimum wage, but this is the same thing with this like government equality thing. I don't know. I'm just really frustrated about it all now. I'm still not sure about Trump for president. Like, he's the only one I can seriously consider. And like, Hillary just lies about everything, and she wants you to vote for her because she's a woman. I don't want to vote for her because she's a woman. If she was a good woman, I'd vote for her, but she's a woman and she has crazy policies. So, even if she was a guy with crazy policies, I wouldn't want to vote for her. I didn't vote for her husband, and I wouldn't vote for her. And Bernie he's a communist. And I don't trust any of the other people. The only reason why I really think Trump would make a good president is because I think his, I get the impression, I don't even know, I mean, I could be totally wrong on this, but I get the impression that he knows about all these, like, goofy programs and the way that, like, the government has screwed up the economy and screwed up the ability to make it big in America, and that he would actually work on fixing that. But I'm not even sure about that, so I don't even know if I trust Trump. It's kind of scary. Oh, Portal is the worst too. This end platform that's off the main island. I hate that. The first time I came in here last episode when we killed the Ender Dragon, as soon as I spawned in, I got Ender Dragon pushed me off the platform and I died. It was just dumbest thing ever, and I lost all the armor and gear and stuff I had on me, and I lost that thing too. But yeah, I'm hoping that if Trump gets elected, I mean, we'll find out. I don't know what abilities he'll be able to do. And it's weird too, because people talk about politics and they talk about, oh, well, who has the best political track record, or the best political resume, like who's been in government the longest. Like, I don't want people who are career politicians. I want people who are good at something to be politicians. I mean, what's the point? Like, it's weird. One of the things too is Vancouver, Washington, which is close to where I live. Like the mayor, right, was on the news today. He wants like $100,000 to be mayor. Like, what the hell do you need a raise for? How about you show me what you did that was successful? Why you would deserve a raise? What makes you think the people are just going to give you one? You know, show me what your achievements are. Show me your resume. We're about to wrap it up here. It looks like we got a few more seconds left. I just want to let everybody know I have a cold right now, so I chopped some of the coughing out of the audio, and so the end of it may be out of sync by a little bit, but this is going to wrap everything up for now, and I think we'll talk some more stuff next episode. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody who likes and subscribes, and we'll catch you guys later. Punch 3 wood. 3 wood makes a wooden pick. 3 stone makes a stone pick. We're in the Stone Age, baby.